Hi everybody, today PhoneArena is excited to present you the prototype of the Sony Ericsson Xperia Arc. It's one of the coolest designs we've seen lately. In the midsection here, the phone is the slimmest smartphone on the market, just a third of an inch thick, 8.7 millimeters, which widen a little bit in both ends and make the profile arched, hence the arc moniker, but also this chrome band surrounding the phone classes it up. It encompasses all the ports and openings, like the volume rocker, micro USB port, micro HDMI, power lock button, and the standard audio jack here on the left. Not only that, but the back cover is in gradient colors. We have the midnight blue version here, but there's also misty silver. It's entirely made of plastic, but that makes it very light. And it doesn't look cheap since the plastic chosen is of high quality. Sony Ericsson managed to fit the 8 megapixel camera sensor with LED flash in the thickest part here at the top, and that's why you have to be careful when taking shots, not to cover the lens with your fingers. And on top of that, the camera key here is pretty small, so really have to hold it with both hands, but it's a good thing since the photos won't come out blurry. The display is a 4.2-inch capacitive touchscreen, 480 by 854 pixels of resolution. It's very bright in direct sunlight, but we have one complaint about it. It has very poor viewing angles. As you can see, when we tilt the phone, looking at it from the side, the colors and brightness degrade to a big extent. It's almost what we would expect from a first generation LCD screen, not the Super LCD we have here. Other than that, we have no complaints about the display on the Sony Ericsson Xperia Arc. And Sony has even thrown in its mobile Bravia engine, which comes directly from their flat screen TVs. Enhances the colors and sharpness when you're looking at pictures, so watching video. It's no Super AMOLED, but a very welcome addition nonetheless. And other than the poor viewing angles, we would say that the display here is up there with the best LCD screens. Even though it's 4.2 inch, since the phone is so slim and so light, you don't feel that you're holding such a big screen. Sony Ericsson has skinned Android 2.3 Gingerbread much less now than with the previous phones from the Xperia line, so it can update Gingerbread in a timely manner if needed. It calls this interface Timescape, so let's have a look at it, what's new and what's not. We won't be spending much time on the interface since it's in a prototype form still. Besides, we've already reviewed the UX interface extensively when we reviewed the Sony Ericsson Xperia X10. There are some differences, of course. That's why Sony now calls it just the Timescape user interface, which comes to show that the Timescape function is still here. This card-based system for your social networking updates and messaging notifications, but the Mediascape is gone. It's now shrank down to this glorified shortcut here, where I can access the gallery, stock Android gallery, the music player, which is skinned as it was in the other phones from the Xperia line, much better looking than the stock Android music player. And here we have to say that we were pleasantly surprised with the loudspeaker. Great bass sounds, very strong, clear sound. Basically, it's amazing that Sony Ericsson managed to fit such an excellent loudspeaker in such a slim handset. We still have this dock here at the bottom with the 4 shortcut icons to your most used applications, which now can be folder icons as well. But there's an app drawer in the middle which calls up the main menu with transparent background of the pages. And here's a new twist: you can arrange your app icons alphabetically by the most used ones as well as the recently installed. Pretty cool. There's no lack in the interface even in this prototype form. The second generation Snapdragon chipset is really showing. We consistently scored 1500 plus on Quadrant, which makes it one of the fastest stock handsets we've tried so far. The only lack we notice in this cool overview mode, you pinch in and all the widgets that you have on your home screens come together on one home screen, so you can pick and choose whatever you want. It reminds somewhat of the helicopter view in HTC Sense, but it's not the same, and it's still very cool. Most everything else is skinned as well. The messaging app, the phone book. This white strip here is due to the non-final software. It will probably be gone in the final version. The white glow when you reach the end of a scrolling list here is orange in stock Gingerbread. So Sony Ericsson has definitely skinned it. You have social networking integration here in the phone book, but if you want to look up your contacts Facebook profile, the dedicated application fires up. You can't look it up straight from the phone book, like in TouchWiz 3.0 for example. Dialer, call log, favorites, everything in this blue gradient colors and gray. As you can see, flash is no problem on the Sony Ericsson Xperia Arc, but we had to download the latest version of Android Market, a flash player 10.1 something, because otherwise the video here didn't show. Let's have a look how normal browsing looks like. Pages load pretty quickly, scrolling is smooth, despite that the page hasn't loaded completely. Pinch to zoom works very well, double tap. Oh, we basically don't have any complaints about the browser on the Sony Ericsson Xperia Arc, even in this prototype form now. The camera interface is different than the rest of the Xperia line phones. You have this strip here with the most recently taken videos and pictures. You can pull on the left all the rest. And on the left here you have a bunch of capturing modes, scenes, there's 6 focus modes, 4 flash modes including red eye reduction. Basically the only thing lacking is different effects like negative or sepia, but these might appear in the final version of the software. The pictures themselves turned out very good, with a high amount of detail, very accurate color representation, and the camera is very capable in low light thanks to the backlit Exmor-R sensor in the 8 megapixel camera. Also the video was very smooth with fine detail and contrast. It's one of the best cameras on a mobile device currently. Of course, it can't be compared to the one on the Nokia N8, but it's still very good, especially considering it's such a slim device. In the end, we have to admit that we were taken away by the Sony Ericsson Xperia Arc, mainly because of the design. It's the thinnest smartphone on the market here in the midsection. The arched profile makes it comfortable to hold, and on top of that it's very light thanks to the plastic build, so you never feel you're carrying a 4.2-inch screen with you. Despite being so slim and light, it's a pretty capable handset, 2nd generation Snapdragon chipset, the latest version of Android this time, 2.3 Gingerbread, which is a welcome change from all the other phones in the Xperia line. And when you add a very capable loudspeaker, the 8 megapixel camera with Sony's new Exmor-R sensor, which is backlit similar to what we have on the iPhone 4, and thus pictures taken in low light come out pretty good. Video is also smooth, and the set video you can stream via the micro HDMI port. The only downsides we see to the phone is this small power lock button here at the top, which is very hard to find and fiddly to press. And also it doesn't have a front-facing camera, but these downsides we're willing to overlook because of the stunning design and the great hardware of the Sony Ericsson Xperia Arc. And we can't wait to get our hands on the final unit for a review.